G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is an AEC19 laser autocannon. This is a standalone heavy weapon which offers you plenty of power, versatility, and a little bit of modularity as well. Suffice it to say that this thing, just firing lasers, no, it can do a little bit more than just that. And it's worth mentioning that this is one of the first T6M mod weapons that doesn't actually include any NIF-bashed assets. This is 100% scratch-made, so round of applause, hats off to you. This thing looks brilliant. It looks like it fits within the vanilla game, but nothing has been taken from the vanilla game, so isn't that really nice? So the customization on this thing is pretty light, and there's the animations are the same as a flamer, but this thing does require some Creation Club mods, which are pretty already listed. So let's get into the customization. First of all, we've got the capacitors, and if you scroll all the way down, yes, you've got the crit increasing ones, but this equalized capacitor gives you epic damage. That'll bring it more in line with your Gatling lasers, and that'll give us almost 2000 DPS, which is pretty nice. So we'll throw on the equalized capacitor because epic damage is way better than exceptional damage, and look at the DPS difference there. 20 points of extra damage gives you that much more DPS. I suppose it's the fire rate that's doing most of the heavy lifting there. But next, we've got the barrels. You can have a standard laser barrel. The incendiary barrel looks like this and gives you a flamer incendiary hellfire incinerator. That's the word. I was thinking I had random flashes. The Enclave troopers, they used to carry them in Fallout 3. So it's like a fire grenade launcher thing. But yep, there's a version of that. There's charging barrels, which are like laser beams, but they fire slower, but for much better damage. Better for punching through armor, so heavily armored targets will stand up a little bit less strongly against these barrels. But you will lose a little bit of DPS. I don't think losing 200 DPS is going to be that much of a terrible thing, but it'll make it so much more efficient on ammo. Just don't miss your targets, because then you're missing out on even more DPS. And you've also got a Gauss version of this thing, which still fires the fusion cores. I suppose the little Gauss projectiles are stored in there, but it looks like that. Bit of trypophobia for you. But you weren't expecting that. There's also improved versions of this, so improved lasers, incendiaries, charging again, and then an improved Gauss barrel there. So we'll definitely check out most of these, but for now, let's start off with just a standard laser thing here. Old fire mode has increased damage and fires multiple beams. Well, you don't want to fire multiple beams because you don't want to split that damage in half, but that's almost 2,500 points of DPS now, which is nice. And now we get to the magazines, which is the thing under the weapon, which if you have no controller, makes it semi-auto, which will increase your damage per shot. But since this thing is firing automatic at the moment, well, we're going to lose a hell of a lot of DPS if we do that. Perhaps if you're going for a maximum per shot thing, say like an incendiary flamer barrel thingy, then you might consider using the semi-automatic receiver for that, for a little bit more power, because by the looks of this, you're not going to be able to fire quite as fast with the incendiary barrel, so it probably won't be as big of a loss. There's also options for supercharge, which will alternate your fire mode, exceptional damage, reduce fire rate. Interesting. So a little bit of a choice. There's also an improved supercharged transformer. If you tilt the gun underneath, it actually looks like the backpacks that you used to wear back in Fallout 3 in New Vegas when you've got a Gatling laser equipped, which I think is a pretty cool touch. Plus all the copper on the front there. It's all very shiny and it's nice. We'll attract magpies with this. Let's go for maximum damage output here, at least for this thing. We're going to lose a lot of DPS, but that kind of damage right there, that's going to be punching through armor to a point where I think we can justify losing that slight bit of DPS over this. And that's it. We've got a legendary effect, but we'll have plenty of legendaries by the time we find out where all of our uniques are. And good heavens, look at the time. We're late. The laser autocannon is injected onto the level list at level 25. You'll find it wherever you might find the Gatling lasers in game. So the easiest place for me to get this, at least in the recommended spot, is from Proctor Tegan on the Pridwin, the Brotherhood of Steel. So he's got Gatling lasers in here, so he'll have laser autocannons. You'll probably find this in the Institute as well, but you know, it's a smoldering crater on this save file. So We won't be finding anything there, which is going to be awkward in a moment. But speaking of awkward, you know, you'd think something that looks like this walking around the Pridwood might cause problems, but don't you worry, it's actually got a holographic disguise installed, but I've got a lens on the camera that allows you to see through that. So, you know, the Brotherhood of Steel, they're just seeing regular old winter, but no, this is cyber winter. We're going cyborg mode here, complete with glowy blue eyes. The first of the uniques is located right here, deep in the adjusted for visibility glowing sea. Actually, no, not that deep. It's in the Hope's March Pentecostal Church. And if you've ever been here, there's plenty of ghouls, but that's the landmark you're looking for. If you can't see it, then, well, you're not close enough. It is close to the edge of the glowing sea, so not too far in, but once you jump inside, there's only one place where you need to go, and that is to the boss chest. But not any old boss chest, because if you look in this one, then there's nothing very interesting in there. Hang on, we've got friends to deal with. Get out of here. Yeah. So, yeah, you can kill basic ghouls with it. I'm sure you're all very surprised about that, but it actually changes. There's a different steamer trunk, and it contains Ark of the Covenant. Thou shalt not look at it directly. Alright, so we are doing that now, and nothing's happening, so I think we're safe. Anyway, so this thing has consecutive hits apply a stacking energy resistance reduction with an epic VATS hit chance. That's interesting. God's Commandment. So I'm thinking if you can push your enemy's energy resistance into the negatives, then you'll get, in turn, more damage. So who knows, maybe this is like a soft Furious, or maybe the energy resistance factor can only be reduced to 0, which you'll get, well, I'm missing out on half the damage anyway, but, you know, I'll take whatever armor penetration that I can get. But, yep, Ark of the Covenant. Also with a couple of other goodies in there as well, but that's not really important. Let's move on. The next unique is located at the Kitty Kingdom, specifically in the Funhouse. If you've ever done the Nuka World questline, it's in this spinny room, so I shouldn't have to tell you where it is. I don't need to hold your hand, but in one of these doors, there's a Gatling laser, or something like that, and it's the second one I opened. I completely lost track of where I was meant to go, but you'll find Red Queen's Gambit right here in the baby cot. Off with their heads. Plus 30% chance to headshot and VATS. That's great. Minus 75% chance everywhere else. Refills your action points on a critical hit. That's relentless. Critical shots do double damage. And the critical meter fills 15% faster. Plus 35% damage. Minus 35% ammo capacity. I like the 35%. 35, very important number for a Collingwood supporter. It says the Eat Me legendary effect. With the semi-auto receiver, of course, because it's got no capacitors or whatever on the bottom. But yeah, we might change this thing a little bit. But yeah, that's our Red Queen's Gambit, our second unique. Time to go back into... Oh, shut up, ghoul. I'm out of here. Anyways, Funhouse is here, and Nuka World, the market's there, so, you know, you can figure it out. The next unique is located in Lynn Woods. If you're unfamiliar with this area, you'll find it on the map here. It is very north. It's sort of in a high-ish level area. You'll find raiders here. More will spawn when you climb up this tower. You can't miss it. And if you ring this alarm here, it'll summon some death claws. So we'll get that going, and what you want to do is climb up the top of the tower like you see here and find Fern's key. There it is. And as you can tell, I've just spawned some death claws down there. That'll go and beat up all of the raiders and, you know, cause a little bit of a distraction. And in the midst of the chaos, you can quickly descend this tower and you'll find a steamer trunk, a red one in the bottom, and in that you'll find Zoltrak 47. It's enough against raiders of this era. Fires 2 additional projectiles, plus 50% damage, plus 20 plus 5% ammo capacity, ignores 30% of target damage and energy resistance, minus 25% fire rate, and minus 15% reload speed. Just a stacked legendary effect. Also a Gauss version of this thing, which is cool. It's got the anti-rapid legendary effect, so I guess it's got the slow one on. But yeah, there it is, Zoltrak. I'm not sure what this is a reference to, but 47, I'm thinking of HK47 from KOTOR. The next unique is sold by Cricket. Now, you might have a little bit of trouble tracking her down. She can appear outside of Vault 81. I seem to catch her there fairly often, but I've developed a foolproof strategy to know exactly where she is at all times on this particular save file. See, Cricket is actually dead. Her corpse usually lies right there. I know exactly where it is, so whenever I actually need her, I just go to this spot exactly, resurrect her with console commands, a foolproof method. Anyways, I am a robot, sell me your weapons. You can find yourself Recharger Cannon, which does this. Takes all your money. Anyways, here's Recharger Cannon. It can warm your heart for 55 lifetimes, but on your 56th lifetime, you're out of luck. It has a limited ammo. It fires its own charging thing, so presumably it's like a recharger gun from New Vegas. It'll just regenerate ammunition over time. Also comes at a penalty of damage, but reduced AP cost, so probably good for VATS maxing. It's also powered by a Demon Core. That's the legendary effect it's actually given me. So cool. We're crushing the souls of demons into energy and using them to fire lasers out of this thing, which is always a good thing. Sweet. Unless it's the Melbourne Football Club. I don't think they make for good ammunition. The next unique is sold by the Synth in the Institute shop. But as you can see, the Institute has, yeah, it's seen better days, but don't you worry, there's another way, especially if you want to be lazy about it. Welcome to the developer dimension. To enter this plane of existence, you must type the following spell into your console commands. COC, which means center on cell, QA smoke. Hit enter, you'll enter this place. My one has a skybox, check that out. Anyways, within this plane of torment and also cheating, you'll find this aptly named thing. You think that's funny? You having a joke with me, mate? You trying to have a laugh? Contained within this oddly named trunk are all of the unique, so you can collect them all from here if you feel like it, if you're lazy like me, or if the game's crashing every time you save. But you'll also find options for Enclave variants. There's also Institute variants with slightly different paints and presumably firing the blue laser beams. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And yeah, there's an Enclave one as well. You can tell because it's it wants to kill all the mutants, which I can get behind. So we'll grab a few of these just to show them off, I suppose. And it'd be kind of cool if the Enclave ones shoot green lasers, but we'll have to see whether that actually occurs. But yeah, there's plenty of things. Also, there's ammunition somewhere. I think there is. Yep, there's like shitloads of fusion cores in here. Not all of them are filled up or whatever, but why is it called that? Okay, important update. Previously, the version of this mod I was using required all of the Creation Club stuff from next gen, so well, I don't need that anymore. It's been updated and all of Masters have gone. So you can use this without downloading all of the Creation Club stuff, which is great news. Anyway, so I'm here a little bit away from Gunner's Plaza because I want to examine these things a little bit more in detail before we actually start shooting, because I'll just switch to them very rapidly because I'm carrying 9 of these things, so I don't think I'll give each of these an equal spotlight. But this one right here just got the automatic standard barrel on it with the Enclave paint, and as you can tell, the beams aren't green, they're yellow, and you can tell by the end of the barrels there's a little bit of yellow going on there. So, you know what, that's close enough. I'm colorblind, it looks green enough to me. This one here has a Gauss barrel. Semi-automatic. The damage numbers this thing is giving me is actually kind of huge. 1100 just for these, like every single shot. It's going to be split up between all of the projectiles, but 1100 is absolutely nothing to put your nose up at, nothing to sneeze at. This one here has got the pulse barrel. This is an Institute version, so of course it's firing the blue projectiles, but that's the same projectile as an alien blaster, which I hate because they're slow. Look how long it takes them to get there. Would you rather wait for, I don't know, a week of probably express shipping for your projectiles to get there, or would you rather have a laser pointer? It gets there instantly, the speed of light even. Now, where was I? This one here is Ark of the Covenant, and It's like Liberty Prime's laser beam. It's just a constant laser beam. It makes Liberty Prime noise. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. Are you looking? I said not to. Next, Doombringer. I mean, in retrospect, it's obvious. It's a Doom weapon. It fires explosive plasma laser beams. A little bit of BFG in there, but a little bit more closer to the plasma gun. It gives you a nice little Gauss explosion there for flavor. Next, we've got Red Queen's Gambit. This one I've outfitted with charging barrels and improved it so I could do a lot more damage. And check out this Mantis. A 95%er from back here. Thank you very much. This Bloatfly, 68%. Partly obscured. Not for long. Concentrated fire will make short work of him. Probably a little bit out of range, of course, but what can you do? Next, this one is the magic one, AK-47. It's not HK-47 because blue's not his color. So it's just automatic, but Gauss. It's like an auto Gauss shotgun. That's pretty nice, and it has a cool sort of effect. The muzzle flashes light your entire character up. That's kind of cool. And lastly, we've got the infinite shooty one. You just hold down the trigger, and the cool thing about this animation set is there's barely any recoil at all. So it's pretty much a big, heavy, unwieldy laser pointer. There's not much spread to speak of, probably a little bit more whilst on the move, but, you know, for this weapon's weight at, what, 18.8, having infinite ammunition, that's pretty good. Now, I'm guessing you can run out, because the ammo is a little bit less, but I think you'll have to be firing it for a very long time to actually see the end of it. So, let's just get started on Gunner's Plaza. Okay, so I try to show off everything that I can, but it might be difficult. I'll have, like, I don't know, maybe 3 kills per different Gatling laser. And of course, this thing, it's got no scope on it or anything. There's no sights. You just sort of point and get a slight decrease in your field of view. So no sniping, we'll just run straight in. It's not like we have to worry about protecting vital organs. We don't have to worry about getting shot in the kidney. This metal frame underneath can survive that. So far, it sort of feels like standard Gatling laser damage. That's our theory with that one, so we'll move on. We'll go over to the gas version. Very, very strong indeed. The spread is going to make it a little bit difficult to hit targets from at range, but this thing, it's firing fusion cores. Probably not the most efficient way to use those fusion cores, but the damage per shot, it's massive. Let's move on. Next, we've got our Institute pulse beams, pulse blobs, bubbles. We're gonna use a little bit of VAFs here because we've got to line up our shots properly here. Make sure we're doing a good job at hitting these things. And we're into nerd rage, so our metal endoskeleton getting a little bit banged up right now. The emergency protocols have been engaged. Let's go over to our next one, Incendiary. Gives a whole new meaning to suppressing fire. Am I doing any damage at all? That's better. Okay, we get a little level up out of that thing as well. So it looks like there's absolutely no splash damage at all, which, yeah, okay, that might... So you can't kill yourself with it, which is great. We're not fire immune. We can still be set on fire. All of the meat bag living flesh, it can be ignited. But yeah, there's no splash damage, but on the flip side, you can't kill yourself with it. So yeah, perhaps not taking the same role as an incinerator, but you can do a similar type of thing. Anyways, next, let's use some cool laser beams. Arc of the... Is that 500 damage? Exactly how fast is this thing firing? Enough to instantly disintegrate everything that I'm pointing at. I don't overuse this, but this is completely broken. Busted, overpowered. I'm just clicking on people and they're just turning into ash. That was one mouse tap. Okay, you're going away. You are forbidden. Let's use our Doom thingo. Should have a couple of gunners sitting around here. Yep, there they are. Right. So that does 1,000 splash damage. Why wouldn't it? I mean, the projectiles are slow, but near enough is good enough anyway. Just point at the ground and have the explosive splash damage do the rest. Let's go over to this one. A little bit of Gauss beams of electricity. This one feels a little bit more balanced. Yes. But, again, we're still running on the old fusion cores, so that means that we get 1,000 shots out of this thing per fusion core. Probably even more if you factor in nuclear physicist. This goes beyond mere melting. This is like full-on disintegration. Look, we're going to have to take out like a monster for each of these things because I think they can do it. And we still haven't even looked at this one. Although I'm sure this one is pretty predictable, right? You point it, does a little bit of damage, infinite ammo, blah, blah, blah. We can snipe some Cazadors. I'm sure it's all thrilling gameplay to watch, so we'll just skip that. They can't poison this robot frame anyway, so we don't even care about them. Okay, Swan, prepare to feel the firepower of this fully armed and operational battle station. Oh yes, sweeping the laser beam along them like that. And for big targets like this guy, oh, there he goes. Did you see the health bar go down? I wasn't watching, but he dropped pretty quick there. Oh my god, this is busted. You know what we need? We need sneak multipliers on this. And a crit too. Haha, Mysterious Ranger can die too. Oh, he's surprisingly immune to it. Okay, let's test out more of these contraptions. Okay, let's turn that dial back down and use something that's a little bit more down to earth. This here, Red Queen's Gambit. If you don't remember, it's the one that has maximum headshot accuracy, and sometimes penetrator doesn't work through walls. That's fine. We love Fallout 4. We understand that it's a flawed game, but fun nonetheless. Anyways, so yeah, we can pick out these gunner targets fairly easily, and the penalties that we get to our hitting literally every other limb means that, well, you may as well just go for the head all the time, which is great because that's how you get more damage. So just from a feel of this, I feel like this is going to be more of a sort of an ammo efficiency VATS maxing sort of weapon to use. So if you're a heavy gunner who's into VATS or just into VATS in general, then you might find some use out of this thing. Particularly if you are playing on survival mode where you've got fusion core and the weight to carry around with that, you might find that it's a pretty effective choice. Add a little bit of adrenaline to that and then get a bunch of kills with this thing and you might see that it'll be doing a pretty good job at defeating your enemies. Anyways, so there's that's Gerald, that's his name. He's not quite Swan, but still a dignified individual. We'll hit him up with a few of these crits as they come here. As you can tell, not a particularly effective weapon against him. So let's go over to Zaltrak 47, and to give you an idea of what kind of damage we're getting out of this thing, we'll fire it at some, please stop that, Gerald, at some super mutant warlords, and it'll do the job. And, well, congratulations, you've hit the trap card. We just got to find the spot where it'll give me hundreds of points of damage, and I don't know where that's going to be. That's better. Okay, so go for the crotch, I guess. Okay, this time we're going to take the fight right to him because he's so weirdly inconsistent with his damage things. Oh, yeah. Okay. Go for the nuts and you'll be laughing. We're just completely shredding him. So it looks like we're getting that damage all the time when it comes to shooting regular old enemies, but we had to hit him in the middle of his hitbox to actually get that kind of shredding power on him, which, I don't know. just feeling a bit sensitive in those areas, mate, that's fine. I guess we know he's definitely a Gerald and not a Geraldine. Anyways, so we'll leave these gunners alone. They'll walk around the back and see that someone slayed a giant super mutant behemoth, and maybe, just maybe, they'll be less confident to investigate whatever that noise was. Okay, last one. This one is the Doombringer. Should make short work of this guy. Oh, we can disable his sonic projectiles with this thing. That's great news. Let's keep doing that. Oh, you are not touching me. Get out of here. Well, that made it easy. You know, considering how easy some of these are to find, there's a big chance these things will just break your games. Also, for some reason, all of the corpses around here have collision, and I don't know why. Like, that one does too. What's up with that? If I installed a mod that makes the things have... Can I jump on them? Yes. I don't remember putting any mods. Maybe I downloaded some mod that just had that attached to it. But anyways, I think you get the idea. So the laser cannon, laser auto cannon. It's an interesting beast. I'm not going to complain that it's overpowered, but, you know, if you find this thing in your game, and you might find that it could potentially ruin the struggle, but you could always just use your willpower. Everyone's got some, to just not use these weapons, or just mess around with them for a little bit, put them away, and bring them out when you really want to get revenge on, I don't know, like the lobster man if he keeps killing you. It's cool lighting. Glowing eyes, they're cool. Especially if they're red. Hang on, I can do that. So anyways, if you want to see this thing in your game, check out the link in the description. Highly recommend it, because like anything that T6M makes is really fun to use by itself anyway. But, you know, if you're looking for like a heavy gunner solution for your end game, then this thing will have you covered. But if you don't like the balance of all the uniques, hang them up on your wall because they look cool, but never use them because, you know, you break your game. The game becomes a little bit less fun if you care about balance and all that. That's my personal recommendation. Do they need to be adjusted? Well, I'll let the mod author decide whether that needs to be done. But I think that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.